In this video, we're going to talk all about focus and getting super sharp images. And look at this view, it's absolutely amazing. I'm on the rim of an inactive volcano, not an active one. But at the moment, I'm going to focus on my apple. Morning everybody, and welcome to my series on Iceland. And in this video we're going to talk all about focus and getting sharp images. And I've got a real treat because we're going to hike up to a volcano rim. There's been quite a lot of low cloud and it's been really foggy for about 3 or 4 hours, but it's clearing. I think it's going to be good. Let's see what we can get. Right, I think I've got everything. Let's go. Actually, there's some blue spot. No, it's looking good. So most people in landscape photography want their photos to be sharp, front to back and edge to edge. And there are lots of factors that come into that. The biggest one is focus and depth of field. And that's what I'm going to talk about mostly in this video. But you've also got to remember that it depends on your lenses as well. If you have a really poor lens, then at the edges it's probably not going to be as sharp. So in terms of focus, there's one thing, the elephant in the room, which is hyperfocal distance. And I don't really think about that at all, but it's really useful to just talk about it briefly right at the start, and then if we refer to it, we know what we're talking about. Mostly in this video, I'm going to show you examples. So I'm going to show 3 or 4 examples in different locations. The hyperfocal distance is the closest point at which the furthest away thing is in focus. That's the easiest way to explain it. If you go forward, focus closer than that hyperfocal distance, then your mountains aren't going to be in focus. I don't think about it that much at all, hardly ever. But one thing I do think about all the time is depth of field and how important depth of field is in landscape photography. So that is at the point you focus on, how much behind and in front of that point is in focus. Okay, let's go and find this volcano rim. What a beautiful day to be hiking. Oh wow, so that volcano over there is called Nigel, and I pronounced that wrong, I know. But I have an epic morning there in a future video, so stay tuned for that in the coming few weeks. So there's one more thing I just want to say about focus before we do an example. I don't want to talk about field of view and how that impacts focal length, etc. There's lots of complicated science behind it, and I'm sure somebody in the comments will say focal length doesn't impact depth of field. But for the purposes of this, the things that you need to care about for depth of field are your sensor size, your focal length, where you focus, and your aperture. And all those impact the ultimate depth of field, how much you're going to get in focus in your shot. So if you think about those, and I'll show you how to use the app, you just can't fail to get sharp images. And it also helps you to know when you need to focus stack, because sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to get super sharp images. Right, let's start with the simplest example, and that is something that's far away, there's nothing in the foreground, and we'll take Hyperfocal, that volcano over there, as an example. I'm spoiled for volcanoes at the moment. This is the one we're hiking on the right hand side, but we'll take that one as an example. So I've just had a quick look on Google Maps, it's 2 kilometers away roughly. So if I put in here that the subject distance is 2 kilometers, and say we focus, just for argument's sake, on Hyperfocal, and say we just focus at f2.8, so the shallowest depth of field I've got on my 200mm lens. So 200mm, f2.8, 2 kilometers away. What this is telling me is that everything to infinity, so and beyond, don't crack jokes, everything to infinity and all the way back to 382 meters away will be in focus at f2.8. If I go to, say, f8, which is probably a good idea because it's probably the sharpest point of the lens, then everything to 150 millimeters away, 150 meters away is in focus. So actually, as long as I don't have anything, you know, of these little hills here, anything in the valley is going to be in focus if I focus on myofelt at any aperture. So, you know, people get worried about sometimes, oh, do I need it on f11 if I'm shooting something a long way away with a 200mm lens? Quite often the answer is no, but you can check photo pills. Now we're going to get to more complicated examples, but that's a super simple one to start with. And whilst we're at it, I think it's probably worth a photo, so I'll set my long lens up. Okay, so I've got my 200mm lens on now. You can see that it's filling the frame pretty much, and I'm going to shoot one at f13, and I'm also going to shoot one at f2.8, and I'll show the results. Actually, for this particular image, to get the best image, we actually want to get in some of the nice foreground in the thing. So we'll probably zoom out a little bit and probably just go to about there, which is about 85mm. As soon as you zoom out like that, then that's going to give us more depth of field in the image. And we can look at photo pills and have a look at that. I'm not going to in this case, but we're going to look at a different example similar to this higher up. So I'm going to take this shot. I think it looks pretty good. There's a stream just down here, so I'll probably go into portrait, and let's just move it into portrait now. So if I just rotate this round, here we go. You can see that. If I just move down a bit, I can probably zoom in a bit, and I just like that going through at the bottom, just setting the frame. So that looks pretty good. Got to be a little bit careful. There's a glacier in the background. I don't want to burn it out. The histogram looks okay. Always on your histogram check there's nothing that you're missing. I'm going to do it about there. That's pretty good. I want to get the sharpest part of my lens, because if you look at the lens, it's sharper at sort of around f8 usually for most lenses. So I'm going to focus on myofel. And I know for sure now I'm shooting at 135mm, even at f2.8, that everything's going to be in focus because it's all such a long way away. That's pretty good. Right, onward to this beast up here.
It's a hard thing to know that you're so.
I've just spotted a great little scene just to the left of myofel, where I was just doing that, and I really like this diagonal line of this hill coming down here, and then this river going up here, and then the mountains in the background. So, you know, again, everything's so far away. I'm shooting at 135mm. I just don't need to worry about it too much. I can focus pretty much anywhere, and everything will be in focus. But it looks really nice. That's a nice little sort of, I don't know, it's just a nice little compact scene with lots of diagonals, and the cloud at the top just anchors it. It just looks so nice.
It's not easy to let go. Can you love me again? Can things ever be the same?
Oh, getting closer now. Whoa, there's a good waterfall there. Whoa. So we're going up there to this volcano rim here. It's going to be so interesting seeing that after the live volcano that I saw earlier in the week. Another video to come soon, and that, oh, that is epic. Yeah, not far to go now.
Yes, there he goes.
Oh my word.
All the things I wanna say.
So this is pretty cool. I'm sure we can find lots of compositions here. So what we'll do is look for super wide. We'll go to the other end of the spectrum and try and get something really close up, focus on some detail that's really close to the camera, and focus on getting that in focus and the rest of the scene in focus. And we'll try and do it two ways. One, just in one shot, and the other one, when we get a bit closer, focus stacking. Okay, so I'm just being really careful because I don't want to damage anything down here, but we've got these little flowers down here. Now, I couldn't find, I was hoping there was going to be a bigger flower because I've seen quite a lot of them. There's one over there, but it's not close enough to the edge. So we'll do 2 shots with it. We'll do one, which is, I'm about 1.5 meters away from it at the moment. And so you think 1.5 meters away, 14 millimeters, you know, what do you focus on? Do you focus on the flower? Do you focus on the mountain? Well, if we can put it into photo pills, we'll say 1 kilometer away. We focus at 1 kilometer away, which is the mountain probably is about that, maybe a little bit closer. F8, 14 millimeters, and it's telling us that the near focus point, now I like to always think double that near focus point because then you're super safe, but that would be 1.6 meters away. So this flower, if we focus on that mountain, will still be in focus. But the other thing is, if you're a little bit unsure, then that's where you can use the hyperfocal distance, but you'd want to go double the hyperfocal distance. So if the hyperfocal distance in this case is 0.8 meters, then you want to go double that. So I go way past it. I go probably triple that. So you could focus down there somewhere and then you'd be super safe. You get the mountain in focus and the flower in focus. So something like this, 14 millimeters, is just not difficult. You can get that flower in focus. Now, what we want though is to get really close to the flower. Okay, you can see we're a lot closer now. We're only about 40 centimeters away, I'd say, from the flower. So there's no combination of settings that's going to get everything in focus. So if we're 40 centimeters away, then I just need to put in 14 millimeters, F9, and we'll just put in the subject distance is 0.4 meters, and that says that it's going to focus at F9 all the way to 80 centimeters. So not that far. So we're going to have to focus here and probably a little bit further as well, just to get everything in focus. So what I can also do is I can put in the mountain. So if I put in the mountain, so we'll say what's the mountain? 1,000 meters, and we'll put in F9. We'll say we put in F13. It's going to get us to 50 centimeters away. So actually, there's going to be a bit of a crossover there. So we can focus on here, focus on the mountain, and actually there's going to be a crossover in the focal planes. And that means that we'll be able to focus stack that really easily. But just to be safe, what I will do is I will focus here a little bit further up, maybe here, and then on the mountain as well. And then I've done videos before on focus stacking. There's also videos in Masterclass 1 and Masterclass 2 on focus stacking, so check out those. It's fairly simple to do, to be honest, and here's the result.
It's not enough to say I'm sorry. Didn't beg him to stay. So there he goes. There he goes.
Oh, it's good to have an apple. Just found it in my bag. What a bonus. I didn't think I packed it. I was walking up thinking, didn't think about my apple. That's not good. Well, I'm at the top now. I think the best view of the crater is over there, because also you get a nice view of the waterfall as well. So I'm going to go back on the way back down and take that. The light's just not, I mean, it's not bad. The clouds are amazing, but I was hoping for a little bit of outbreak of light in the distance. Mila Fell looks good over there. So I'll probably shoot that again with a long lens. And also this sort of moss here is really nice. So I'm probably going to shoot some of that. But yeah, look at this. Absolutely incredible, isn't it? Absolutely incredible. So when I've shot this moss, we'll walk back down and I'll show you some more examples from around Iceland of how you can make sure you get super sharp shots.
Yes, there he goes. I know I did him wrong. Now something is broken inside me. I got what I gave. I am worthy to feel this way. But I want him to know.
So I've just, on my way back down, I was just trying different compositions and I found something really nice. I actually really like it. It's really difficult conditions at the moment because it's sort of quite flat light. The clouds are quite good, but there's just no definition in the light. And for landscapes like this where you've got foregrounds with rocks, I like it to be sort of side lit by low light, and so that golden light looks so good. And also the snow is just patchy and difficult, so I tried to incorporate the snow in this shot, and I think it's worked quite well. So it's a little bit wider than this in the photo, but basically I've got this band of snow here, I've got the sort of stone coming in here, and then I've got this band of snow on the right hand side which balances this band, and then these other bands of snow are just quite nice in the background. Obviously we've got this brilliant waterfall and then this sort of horseshoe. In terms of focus, because there's nothing super close, then I have done a focus stack on it, but it is on 14mm, and as we know, at 14mm you've got a really wide field of view. So the f13, which is what I've shot it, I think if I shot on the mountain down to about 60-70 centimetres away would be in focus. But I've shot on the mountain, I've shot 5 meters away as well, just to bring that close bit of focus closer, but still keep the sharp element on the mountain. The colours here are stunning though, really stunning, the reds and greens.
And I'm sorry I gave him this burden. There he goes. There he goes. Yes, there he goes.
Okay, so this is a pretty good example for focus. We got an amazing waterfall. Now if you were just going to shoot the waterfall, it's as far in the distance that matters shooting at sort of the wider focal lengths that it doesn't really matter whether you use f2.8 or f11. When we want to get a bit of foreground in, so I've got a bit of foreground down here, so if we just have a look at this, so say we want to get this foreground in here, you know, you then starting to think, where do I focus? And you start to panic because, you know, there's this foreground bit, there's the background bit, you don't want to have to focus stack it because it might be quite complicated. So you think, right, okay, what am I going to do? So the key thing here is just to understand when you focus on the waterfall, which is effectively infinity, how close does the focus come? Okay, so we've got photo pills here, and I've got 200 meters away, which is roughly the waterfall. Whether I put 200 or infinity, it wouldn't matter. So 200 meters away, f11, 24 millimeters, z7, all those things matter because the sensor size matters, as does the focal length. So it's saying now that the depth of field near limit is 1.7 meters away. So 1.7 meters away will be acceptably sharp. Now for me, that's not good enough. So I sort of want to be well within the comforts of that, really. So that means that we can't just focus on the waterfall. Now obviously if we just focused on the flower in the very foreground here, the waterfall probably won't be in focus. So what we've got to do then is we've got to look at the hyperfocal distance, and the hyperfocal distance effectively allows you to get the maximum depth of field if you focus on that point. But if you miss that out, if you come too close from the hyperfocal distance, then the waterfall might be out of focus. So what we want to do is either double the hyperfocal distance and then try and find a point which is there. And in this case, the hyperfocal distance is 1.7 meters away. So if we focus 3.4 meters away, then that'll get the waterfall in focus, and then everything to about a meter away in focus, and that's going to be fine. So it doesn't have to be exact, but roughly if you focus 3 meters away, and in this case that would be somewhere where these plants are here. So if we just look at this, it's going to be somewhere, I don't know, you could pace it out as long as you don't pace into the waterfall. 1, 2, 3. So these flowers down here, then all of this will be in focus because it'll come back all the way to 1 meter, and the background will be in focus as well.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video on focus from Iceland. One of the things that I didn't get across very well was hyperfocal distance and just how important it is to be careful about that. If you come too far forward from the hyperfocal distance when you focus, your mountains won't be in focus. And actually, even if you focus on the hyperfocal distance, your mountains won't be pin sharp. They'll be acceptably sharp, not pin sharp. And that's one of the key things with the PhotoPills app. When you put in a distance, the distances that it shows, so that nearest point of focus, which I probably didn't get across very well there, is just acceptably sharp. It's not pin sharp, and that's why I was doubling distances just to be safe. Anyway, I'll leave you with some footage from the next few weeks from Iceland because I'm so excited about sharing it all with you. I got some really, really great shots and I can't wait to show you them. So until next Sunday, bye.